Chiune Sugihara was a Japanese diplomat who served as vice-consul for the Empire of Japan in Lithuania. During World War II, he helped several thousand Jews leave the country by issuing transit visas to Jewish refugees so that they could travel to Japan. Most of the Jews who escaped were refugees from German-occupied Poland and residents of Lithuania. Sugihara wrote travel visas that facilitated the escape of more than 6,000 Jewish refugees to Japanese territory, risking his career and his family's lives. Sugihara had told the refugees to call him Sempo, the Sino-Japanese reading of the characters in his first name, discovering it was much easier for Western people to pronounce. In 1985, Israel honored him as righteous among the nations for his actions. Early life. Chiune Sugihara was born January 1, 1900, in Yatsu, a rural area in Gifu Prefecture of the Shubu region to a middle-class father, Yoshimi Sugihara, and Yatsu Sugihara, an upper-middle-class mother. He was the second son among 5 boys and 1 girl. In 1912, he graduated with top honors from Fuotari Elementary School, and entered Daigo Chugaku founded by Aki Prefecture, a combined junior and senior high school. His father wanted him to follow in his footsteps as a physician, but Chiune deliberately failed the entrance exam by writing only his name on the exam papers. Instead, he entered Waseda University in 1918 and majored in English language. At that time, he entered Yaiga Kusher, the Christian fraternity which had been founded by Harry Baxter Benenhoff, a Baptist pastor. In 1919, he passed the Foreign Ministry Scholarship exam. The Japanese Foreign Ministry recruited him and assigned him to Harbin, China, where he also studied the Russian and German languages and later became an expert on Russian affairs. Manchurian Foreign Office. When Sugihara served in the Manchurian Foreign Office, he took part in the negotiations with the Soviet Union concerning the Northern Manchurian Railroad. He quit his post as Deputy Foreign Minister in Manchuria in protest over Japanese mistreatment of the local Chinese. While in Harbin, he converted to Orthodox Christianity and married a Russian woman named Claudia Semyonovna Apollonova. They divorced in 1935, before he returned to Japan, where he married Yukiko Kikuchi, who became Yukiko Sugihara after the marriage. They had 4 sons. As of 2012, Shoaki is their only surviving son. Chiune Sugihara also served in the Information Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and as a translator for the Japanese legation in Helsinki, Finland. Lithuania. In 1939, Sugihara became a vice-consul of the Japanese consulate in Kaunas, Lithuania. His other duty was to report on Soviet and German troop movements. Sugihara is said to have cooperated with Polish intelligence as part of a bigger Japanese-Euro-Polish cooperative plan. As the Soviet Union occupied sovereign Lithuania in 1940, many Jewish refugees from Poland as well as Lithuanian Jews tried to acquire exit visas. Without the visas, it was dangerous to travel, yet it was impossible to find countries willing to issue them. Hundreds of refugees came to the Japanese consulate in Kaunas, trying to get a visa to Japan. The Dutch consul Jans Wartendage had provided some of them with an official third destination to Cura Section O, a Caribbean island and Dutch colony that required no entry visa, or Suriname. At the time, the Japanese government required that visas be issued only to those who had gone through appropriate immigration procedures and had enough funds. Most of the refugees did not fulfill these criteria. Sugihara dutifully contacted the Japanese Foreign Ministry 3 times for instructions. Each time, the ministry responded that anybody granted a visa should have a visa to a third destination to exit Japan, with no exceptions. From July 18 to August 28, 1940, aware that applicants were in danger if they stayed behind, Sugihara began to grant visas on his own initiative, after consulting with his family. He ignored the requirements and issued the Jews with a 10-day visa to transit through Japan, in violation of his orders. Given his inferior post and the culture of the Japanese Foreign Service bureaucracy, this was an unusual act of disobedience. He spoke to Soviet officials who agreed to let the Jews travel through the country via the Trans-Siberian Railway at 5 times the standard ticket price. Sugihara continued to handwrite visas, reportedly spending €18 hours a day on them, producing a normal month's worth of visas each day, until September 4, when he had to leave his post before the consulate was closed. By that time he had granted thousands of visas to Jews, many of whom were heads of households and thus permitted to take their families with them. On the night before their scheduled departure, Sugihara and his wife stayed awake writing out visa approvals. According to witnesses, he was still writing visas while in transit from his hotel and after boarding the train at the Kaunas railway station, throwing visas into the crowd of desperate refugees out of the train's window even as the train pulled out. In final desperation, blank sheets of paper with only the consulate's seal and his signature were hurriedly prepared and flung out from the train. As he prepared to depart, he said, "OE, please forgive me. I cannot write anymore. I wish you the best." When he bowed deeply to the people before him, someone exclaimed, "OE Sugihara. We unregistered trademark LL never forget you. Unregistered trademark LL surely see you again." Sugihara himself wondered about official reaction to the thousands of visas he issued. Many years later, he recalled, "No one ever said anything about it. I remember thinking that they probably didn't realize how many I actually issued." The total number of Jews saved by Sugihara is in dispute, estimating about 6,000. Family visas euro, which allowed several people to travel on one visa euro, were also issued, which would account for the much higher figure. The Simon Wiesenthal Center has estimated that Chiune Sugihara issued transit visas for about 6,000 Jews and that around 40,000 descendants of the Jewish refugees are alive today because of his actions. Polish intelligence produced some false visas. Sugihara's widow and eldest son estimate that he saved 10,000 Jews from certain death, whereas Boston University professor and author, Hillel Levine, also estimates that he helped as many as 10,000 people, but that far fewer people ultimately survived. According to Levine's 1996 biography of Sugihara, In Search of Sugihara, the Japanese diplomat issued 3,400 transit visas to the Jews. Levine reports from his research of official Japanese Foreign Ministry documents entitled Miscellaneous Documents Regarding Ethnic Issues, Jewish Affairs, Volume 10, 1940 Diplomatic Record Office, Japanese Foreign Ministry, Tokyo, that he discovered one list alone of 2,139 names, largely of Polish Euro, both Jews and non-Jews Euro, who received visas between July 9 and August 31, 1940. It is far from complete. Many who received visas from Sugihara, including children, are not on it. By statistical extrapolation, it can be estimated that he helped as many as 10,000 escape, yet those who actually survived are probably no more than half that number. Indeed, some Jews who received Sugihara visas failed to leave Lithuania in time, were later captured by the Germans who invaded the Soviet Union on June 22, 1941, and perished in the Holocaust. The Diplomatic Record Office of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has opened to the public 2 documents concerning Sugihara's file. The first aforementioned document is a February 5, 1941 diplomatic note from Chiune Sugihara to Japan's then Foreign Minister Yasuke Matsuoka, in which Sugihara stated he issued 1,500 out of 2,139 transit visas to Jews and Poles. However, since most of the 2,139 people were not Jewish, this would imply that most of the visas were given to Polish Jews instead. Levine then notes that another document from the same Foreign Office file indicates an additional 3,448 visas were issued in Kaunas for a total of 5,580 visas, which were likely given to Jews desperate to flee Lithuania for safety in Japan or Japanese-occupied China. Moreover, there were also some Jesuits in Vilna who were issuing Sugihara visas with seals that he had left behind and did not destroy, long after the Japanese diplomat had departed, which means that some Jews could have escaped Europe with forged visas issued under Sugihara's name. Many refugees used their visas to travel across the Soviet Union to Vladivostok and then by boat to Kobe, Japan, where there was a Russian Jewish community. Tadeusz Roma, the Polish ambassador in Tokyo, organized help for them. From August 1940 to November 1941, he had managed to get transit visas in Japan, asylum visas to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Burma, immigration certificates to the British Mandate of Palestine, and immigrant visas to the United States and some Latin American countries for more than 2,000 Polish-Lithuanian Jewish refugees, who arrived in Kobe, Japan, and the Shanghai Ghetto, China. The remaining number of Sugihara survivors stayed in Japan until they were deported to Japanese-held Shanghai, where there was already a large Jewish community. Some took the route through Korea directly to Shanghai without passing through Japan. A group of 30 people, all possessing a visa of Jacob Goldberg, were bounced back and forth on the open sea for several weeks before finally being allowed to pass through Tsuruga. Most of the around 20,000 Jews survived the Holocaust in the Shanghai Ghetto until the Japanese surrender in 1945, 3 to 4 months following the collapse of the Third Reich itself. Resignation: Sugihara served as a consul general in Prague, Czechoslovakia, from March 1941 to late 1942 in Kar-Paragraph-Nigsburg, East Prussia, and in the legation in Bucharest, Romania from 1942 to 1944. When Soviet troops entered Romania, they imprisoned Sugihara and his family in a POW camp for 18 months. They were released in 1946 and returned to Japan through the Soviet Union via the Trans-Siberian Railroad and Naklojka port. In 1947, the Japanese Foreign Office asked him to resign, nominally due to downsizing. Some sources, including his wife Yukiko Sugihara, have said that the Foreign Ministry told Sugihara he was dismissed because of that incident in Lithuania. In October 1991, the ministry told Sugihara's family that Sugihara's resignation was part of the ministry's shake-up in personnel shortly after the end of the war. The Foreign Ministry issued a position paper on March 24, 2006, that there was no evidence the ministry imposed disciplinary action on Sugihara. The ministry said that Sugihara was one of many diplomats to resign voluntarily, but that it was difficult to confirm the details of his individual resignation. The ministry praised Sugihara's conduct in the report, calling it a courageous and humanitarian decision. Later life: Sugihara settled in Fujisawa in Kanagawa Prefecture. To support his family he took a series of menial jobs, at one point selling light bulbs door to door. He suffered a personal tragedy in 1947 when his youngest son died at the age of 7. He later began to work for an export company as general manager of U.S. military post exchange. Utilizing his command of the Russian language, Sugihara went on to work and live a low-key existence in the Soviet Union for 16 years, while his family stayed in Japan. In 1968, Jihoshirin Nishri, an economic attaché copyright to the Israeli embassy in Tokyo and one of the Sugihara beneficiaries, finally located and contacted him. Nishri had been a Polish teen in the 1940s. The next year Sugihara visited Israel and was greeted by the Israeli government. Sugihara beneficiaries began to lobby for his inclusion in the Yad Vashem Memorial. In 1985, Chiune Sugihara was granted the honor of the Righteous Among the Nations by the government of Israel. Sugihara was too ill to travel to Israel, so his wife and son accepted the honor on his behalf. Sugihara and his descendants were given perpetual Israeli citizenship. That same year, 45 years after the Soviet invasion of Lithuania, he was asked his reasons for issuing visas to the Jews. Sugihara explained that the refugees were human beings, and that they simply needed help. Inspired by a Oe Lamentations, a book of the Old Testament, written by Jeremiah which a Oe suddenly came to, Haminda Yukiko Sugihara urged Chiune to issue visas to save Jewish refugees. When asked by Moshe Zubnik why he risked his career to save other people, he said simply, "I do it just because I have pity on the people. They want to get out, so I let them have the visas." Sugihara died the following year at a hospital in Kamakura, on July 31, 1986. In spite of the publicity given him in Israel and other nations, he remained virtually unknown in his home country. Only when a large Jewish delegation from around the world, including the Israeli ambassador to Japan, showed up at his funeral, Did his neighbors find out what he had done? Legacy and honors. Sugihara Street in Kaunas in Vilnius, Lithuania, Sugihara Street in Tel Aviv, Israel, and the asteroid 25893 Sugihara are named after him. The Chiune Sugihara Memorial in the town of Yautsu was built by the people of the town in his honor. The Sugihara House Museum is in Kaunas, Lithuania. The conservative synagogue Temple Emeth, in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, has built a Sugihara Memorial Garden, and holds an annual Sugihara Memorial Concert. When Sugihara's widow Yukiko traveled to Jerusalem in 1998, she was met by tearful survivors who showed her the yellowing visas that her husband had signed. A park in Jerusalem is named for him. The Japanese government honored him on the centennial of his birth in 2000. A memorial to Sugihara was built in Los Angeles' Little Tokyo in 2002, and dedicated with consuls from Japan, Israel and Lithuania, Los Angeles city officials and Sugihara's son, Shiaki Sugihara, in attendance. The memorial, entitled Chiune Sugihara Memorial, Hero of the Holocaust, depicts a life-size Sugihara seated on a bench, holding a visa in his hand, and is accompanied by a quote from the Talmud, "He who saves one life, saves the entire world." He was posthumously awarded the Commander's Cross with Star of the Order of Polonia Restituta in 2007, and the Commander's Cross Order of Merit of the Republic of Poland by the President of Poland in 1996. Also, in 1993, he was awarded the Life-Saving Cross of Lithuania. Biographies: Yukiko Sugihara, Visas for Life, translated by Hiroki Sugihara, San Francisco, Edgecombe, 1995. Yukiko Sugihara, Visas pour 6000 Vies, Traduit par Corinne Chesneau, ed. Philippe Piquia, 1995. A Japanese TV station in Japan made a documentary film about Chiune Sugihara. This film was shot in Kaunas, at the place of the former Embassy of Japan. Sugihara, Conspiracy of Kindness from PBS shares details of Sugihara and his family and the fascinating relationship between the Jews and the Japanese in the 1930s and 1940s. On October 11, 2005, Yomiuri TV aired a 2-hour-long drama entitled Visas for Life about Sugihara, based on his wife's book. Chris Tashima and Chris Donahue made a film about Sugihara in 1997, Visas and Virtue, which won the Academy Award for live-action short film. Japan's largest film company, Nippon Animation, is producing an animated film on Chiune Sugihara. The film was specially animated for television stations in Japan and around the world. The plan is to market the film in 2008, marking 60 years since diplomatic relations were established between Israel and Japan. The Japanese company asked Israel's ambassador to Japan, Eli Cohen, to help in making the film. Passage to Freedom, by unknown, notables helped by Sugihara, leaders and students of the Mir Yeshiva, Yeshivas Tomku Tomimim relocated to Otok, Poland and elsewhere. Zerich Wahavdig, an Israeli lawyer and politician and a signatory of Israel's Declaration of Independence. Robert Lewin, a Polish art dealer and philanthropist. Leo Malamed, financier, head of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and pioneer of financial futures. John G. Stoessinger, professor of diplomacy at the University of San Diego. George Zames, control theorist. Yaakov Benai, commander of the Lehi Movement's combat unit and later an Israeli military commander. Bernard and Rochelle Zell, parents of business magnate Sam Zell. See also, Nicholas Winton, Aristides de Sousa Mendez, John Rabe, Jan Zortendij, Tatsuo Osako Varian Ferry, Oskar Schindler, Raoul Wallenberg, Giorgio Perlasca, Abdol Hossein Saderi. List of people who helped Jews during the Holocaust. References. Further reading: Yutaka Tamauchi, The Miraculous Visas, Chiune Sugihara and the Story of the 6,000 Jews, New York, Chvon Books. ISBN 978-4-89798-565-7, Seishiro Sugihara and Norman Hu, Chiune Sugihara and Japan's Foreign Minister between Incompetence and Culpability, University Press of America. ISBN 978-0-7618-1971-4, Gaynor, Solly. Light One Candle, A Survivor's Tale from Lithuania to Jerusalem. Kodansha, America. ISBN A1-56836-352-4, Gold, Alison Leslie. A Special Fate, Chiune Sugihara, Hero of the Holocaust. New York, Scholastic. ISBN A0-439-25968-1, Kranzler, David. Japanese, Nazis and Jews, The Jewish Refugee Community of Shanghai, 1938–1945. KTAV Pub Incorporated. ISBN A0-88125-086-4, Saul, Eric. Visas for Life: The Remarkable Story of Chiune and Yukiko Sugihara and the Rescue of Thousands of Jews. San Francisco, Holocaust Oral History Project. ISBN A978-0-9648999-0-2. Iwari, Samuel. To Wear the Dust of War, From Białystok to Shanghai to the Promised Land, An Oral History. Basingstoke, Palgrave Macmillan. ISBN A1-4039-6576-5. Poldial, Mordecai. Diplomat: Heroes of the Holocaust. Jersey City, New Jersey, distrib by KTAV Publishing House. ISBN A0-88125-909-8. Sakamoto, Pamela Rotner. Japanese Diplomats and Jewish Refugees, A World War II Dilemma. New York, Praeger. ISBN A0-275-96199-0. Stella Younes, Dara User. Stefan Schreiner. Leonidas Donskis. Alvydas Nyktsantatus. The Vanished World of Lithuanian Jews. Amsterdam, Rodopi. ISBN A90-420-0850-4. Stenhouse, Carl L. Righteous and Courageous, How a Japanese Diplomat Saved Thousands of Jews in Lithuania from the Holocaust. Authorhouse. ISBN A1-4184-2079-4. J. W. M. Chapman, A Euro-OE Japan in Poland's Secret Neighborhood War, A Euro in Japan Forum No. 2, 1995. Biwa Paras Rutkiska and Anzej T. Roma, A Euro-OE Polish-Japanese Cooperation During World War II, A Euro in Japan Forum No. 7, 1995. Takasato Watanabe, A Euro-OE The Revisionist Fallacy in the Japanese Media, 1 Case Studies of Denial of Nazi Gas Chambers and NHK's Report on Japanese and Jews Relations, A Euro in Social Sciences Review, Doshisha University, No. 59, 1999. Gerard Krebs, Die Juden und der Vernossen at the Wayback Machine, NOAG 175-176, 2004. Gerard Krebs, A Euro-OE The Jewish Problem in Japanese-German Relations, 1933–1945, A Euro in Bruce Reynolds, Japan in Fascist Era, New York, 2004. Jonathan Goldstein, A Euro-OE The Case of Jan Zwartendish in Lithuania, 1940, A Euro in Defriem Darfendorf, New Currents in Holocaust Research, Lessons and Legacies, Vol. 6, Northwestern University Press, 2004. Hideko Mitsui, A Euro-OE Longing for the Earth Era Traitors, A Euro Unregistered Trademark Cosmopolitanism, A Euro in Social Anthropology, Vol. 18, Issue 4, November 2010, European Association of Social Anthropologists. A Euro-OE Lithuania at the beginning of WWII, A Euro George Johnston, A Euro-OE Japan Sugihara came to Jews' rescue during WWII, A Euro in Investors Business Daily, December 8, 2011. William Kaplan, One More Border, The True Story of One Family's Escape from War-Torn Europe, ISBN 0-88899-332-3, external links, Chiune Sugihara Centennial Celebration, Jewish Virtual Library, Chiune and Yukiko Sugihara, Revisiting the Sugihara story from Holocaust Survivors and Remembrance Project, Forget You Not, Visas for Life Foundation, Immortal Chaplains Foundation Prize for Humanity 2000, Foreign Ministry says no disciplinary action for Japan's Schindler. Foreign Ministry honors Chiune Sugihara by setting his commemorative plaque. Japanese recognition of countryman, Chiune Sempo Sugihara, righteous among the nations. Yad Vashem, United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, online exhibition Chiune Sugihara, Yukiko Sugihara's farewell on YouTube, Sugihara Museum in Kaunas, Lithuania.